Hi guys, welcome back to the BMW Guy YouTube channel. In today's video I'm going to give you a couple of tips to make sure that your life with your BMW is as good as it can be. How to make it more reliable, some maintenance items, etc. And yeah, just some general knowledge bits that will make your life with owning the car that bit easier. So let's get straight into it. Okay guys, so the first thing that I'll tell anyone when they're asking me about which of these cars to buy is to make sure that you get one that's been well looked after. And the reason I say that is because these cars love to be looked after. If they don't get looked after, they'll punish you for it. It's simple. So my tip would be, number one, would be to stay up on the maintenance. If you feel that you can't afford to do an oil change, make sure that you try and get it done, because you can always do it yourself. It's nice and easy. I've done a video on the channel explaining how to do it, and I would rather someone did the oil change themselves and didn't get the stamp than they put it off for a couple of thousand miles, and then caused their car to basically destroy itself. Especially with these M47 engine cars, they can be an absolute nightmare if the oil isn't changed regularly, so bear that in mind. Other things is to make sure that you record all of the maintenance that you've done. I'll show you a quick thing that I do with my car just to make my life so much easier. And that is to place a label inside the engine bay. If I can open it. Oh, it seems to be getting quite stiff at the moment. I think it's probably a bit of corrosion on here. It's not making it any easier. But yeah, as you can see here, I have a label on it to state when this filter was last changed and when the oil was changed. There, it's just a nice, easy representation of when it's done. It's almost ingrained in my head because I do all this maintenance myself. It's just easier for me, and I know it's done then. So what I'll do is, I'm coming up to sort of 104,000 miles, so I'm going to get it done again probably around the 106,000 mile mark. So it'll be 8,000 miles, just so I know it's done regularly. So that's something that I would do, especially if you maintain your car yourself. Just put it there. Even if you don't maintain the car yourself, just have one anyway, because you'll notice that you're much more aware of what needs doing and when on your car. So yeah, that's number one. Okay guys, so next tip is going to be to invest in high quality parts. The reason I'm sat inside is because it's absolutely freezing outside tonight. But yeah, we invest in the best quality parts than you can. So I was recently, as you saw, when it was a 98.5k, I was changing my air filter, and I looked on sort of the auto car parts websites, and I found lots of different options. You had MAN filters, Bosch filters, Crossland filters, various ones like that. And the reason that there are these filters, they're all at different price points, but it's because the quality is less, the less money that you pay. So my advice would be to buy the best quality parts that you can buy. That's going to be because they offer the best sort of reliability, the best sort of effect on your car. Like I said, this M47 engine is very sensitive to maintenance items, so that's why it's definitely best to sort of get the best quality parts that you can. That goes for oil as well as other filters. And this will be the same on every BMW, just because BMWs are very, very maintenance dependent. How they treat you sort of essentially is based on how you treat them, so bear that in mind. Next tip is going to be invest in a OBD reading tool. Now this doesn't have to be a Carly like I've done here. It can be any sort of OBD reading tool, because these cars like to throw up error codes, and it is vital that you're able to do this yourself if you want to save a bit of money. If you can't do it yourself, you're going to be looking a few £100s. It's definitely going to be more expensive than paying 60 quid once for this adapter and then being able to repeatedly diagnose yourself. I've known a friend of mine, actually, they had a glow plug issue that came up with an engine warning light, and the garage that they took it to charged them to replace all the glow plugs, but the actual fault still came up, and that's because the fault was actually down to the glow plug relay, which one of these would have told them that. So yeah, that's worth bearing in mind. It will save you money in the long run, despite the fact that this is about £60, this Carly one, and will charge you another £50 for the software per year. Okay guys, so the final tip for this video is going to be relating to how you drive the car, and mainly whether or not you allow the car to warm up. Now this is something that I've actually heard people say on the internet, that you don't need to let your car that cars will nowadays be absolutely fine from the get-go, and you can rag it, bang it off the red line straight away as soon as you start the car up. I'm a massive disbeliever of that. I actually think that you need to really warm the car up properly. If you wouldn't go and run a marathon with no training, you wouldn't go 100-meter sprint to race without warming up first, because you will get an injury. And essentially it's the same with the car. I would almost go as far as saying it's the same for the suspension components as well, especially on cold days, especially like this with sort of 4 degrees. That metal is going to be really cold and brittle and prone to break, and so you just need to warm everything up before you start driving hard. That goes for tyres as well, because these tyres like to be warmed up, they like to be looked after. So my little bonus tip is going to be make sure that you stay on top of your tyre pressures. Not maintaining your tyre pressures will mean that your tyres will wear out prematurely, you'll get worse fuel mileage, and also they'll wear unevenly, so you may have a tyre that is ruined, or it can have a knock-on effect to your suspension, etc., because the tyre is wearing unevenly, which sets everything else off kilter. So yeah, that's just a few quick tips on how to look after your BMW, little things that you can adjust to make sure that you don't get any issues. But yeah, thanks for watching guys. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe on the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.